What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video, and today we're talking about My Hero. I finally was able to finish the manga for it, so this video will be spoiler heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna talk about the end of the anime and talk about things that are happening later on in the anime. So if you've not watched it, it's not the video for you. I suggest you go read it. I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. I have my problems with it, which I'll discuss here, but all in all, it was cool. You know, it was a cool little ending. With that being said, if you have not cleared out the video yet, I'm about to start spoiling stuff for you. Okay, I'll start by saying I like the season, the whole war and everything. Like, of course, My Heroes had like a little bit of dip, right? When it first started, it was insanely popular. Everybody kind of was watching it and stuff. And then, you know, like season 2 was amazing. The sports festival and everything was cool. Season 3 to like season 4. Season 4 is kind of when it kind of fell off, kind of dropped a little bit. And it felt like 4 and 5, if I'm saying this right. Whichever one was the gentle arc, it ruined a lot for a lot of fans. It just felt like it was filler. It had like some band stuff going on. It was just a mess. But when it got to like the My Villain Academia, some people didn't like that. I really liked it. I thought it was cool to see our villains get more powerful, and then eventually end up leading into Shigaraki becoming an absolute beast. And that season of the war was fantastic. It was a really great season. And the anime right now is playing out basically the final battle in the manga that pretty much just ended. So I'm gonna kind of keep it brief, because I feel like I kind of sped read through the chapters. I had picked it up at one point and I kind of read a lot of it, and just kind of dropped it and didn't really finish it until just like maybe 2 days ago when it actually ended. If there's like another chapter out there what I missed, because it did seem like the ending was kind of fast at certain points, then excuse me for that. I just read what I thought was the final chapter, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, obviously when a manga ends, it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. You get to see the end of the story, but you know, it's it. There's no more story. I think the final fight was cool. I think they had a couple of good fights in there. It was Dabi versus his brother, Todoroki. Todoroki did his thing. He kind of maxed out Dabi, but you know, as you find out later on, Dabi wasn't dead, and he ended up trying to turn himself into like a giant explosion, and in the end, he still didn't die. I very much like the fact that they didn't let Shigaraki stay alive. Like, to be honest, like he definitely did die, or whatever he was at the end did die. The All for One, it sort of seemed like they were kind of trying to say it wasn't All for One, it wasn't Shigaraki, it was just a whole new thing. Like it might have been like a third entity or whatever. At least that's the way I kind of read it, because they showed the backstory of All for One and his brother, and showed basically like how they were born and how the powers and stuff had kind of caused him to, you know, he took everything he wanted, just like that was his power. And I'm jumping around a little bit, but it'll make sense at the end. But I like the way that they did the whole All for One thing, making him on a time limit, because in the end, in reality, they made Shigaraki and All for One insanely powerful. So giving All for One like a clock to where he had to be burnt down, and then he's already injured, so he was so hurt that he had to use that quirk to basically rewind himself and basically get rid of all the damage, right? I kind of like that story aspect of it. I even like the Iron All Might. You know what I'm saying? Like like All Might having this kind of technically advanced suit. And one thing that the manga did that I really liked was they legitimized the movies and made them all canon if they weren't canon already, because they showed like the characters from the movies in the fight. They showed the 2 kids from the one island they went to, which seems very not canon, because that's what in the movie that's what Deku gave Bako his powers. And they showed the bird and the guy from that one movie, and then they showed the daughter of the guy that was like All Might's best friend, that was from America, that, you know, that's where he got the really super suit, you know, the Iron Man suit. That's where he got all of that. That was cool to kind of see all those movie characters in there. So if you've seen the movies, you know what I'm saying, they're canonized now, like they're legitimate. So that was definitely cool to see. I like the idea of how they defeated Shigaraki. It was just kind of like he was just too powerful. Even with his quirks negated or whatever the situation was, he was just too powerful. And then as soon as the leash got let off, he was able to just steal one of Deku's quirks. It kind of seemed a little weird though. Like they made a whole big deal about him not being able to steal quirks. You know, considering that like Deku was being protected by the quirks themselves are literally fighting back. Like the souls of the people that had those quirks was able to fight against him, fight against Shigaraki and stuff. And it just seemed like now he was able to just take him. So their big plan was to force feed all of the quirks to Shigaraki to basically make him overflow. This result then ends up leaving Deku with embers of All for One, like All Might did, and allow him to fight for some more years, eventually till he loses his powers, and at the very end, he's given the Deku super suit to basically be another hero. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, one thing I would say is that I can kind of see this ending coming. This ending actually makes sense if you think about it from the beginning. Obviously, Deku was someone who fought the sludge monster without powers. This is what made All Might choose him, you know, saying to be a successor, because he looked at Deku, who felt powerless, that like, he was not a guy with powers. He just rushed straight in. His body moved on his own. He was a natural born hero. And a lot of this show deals with like the quirk and the quirkless, and just seeing Deku become a symbol for people who are not strong. They don't have strong quirks, that they can become heroes too. So if Deku ended up returning to being quirkless in the beginning, it was kind of an interesting move. I'm not gonna lie, because granted, he could still be a hero. He just won't be the number one hero with just the pseudo armor. I mean, I don't know how good the pseudo armor really is, but you know, they didn't really get into that though. Like, you know, obviously Bakugo and Deku, like Deku and Todoroki, Bakugo and all of them, they didn't become like the number one heroes really at the end. They still had like other heroes that were ahead of them. That's more realistic, because granted, you don't just because they're good with their quirks don't mean they're better than people who've been experienced with their quirks for years. In reality, Todoroki has an insane quirk. Bakugo has an insane quirk. And yeah, they are powerhouses, but in reality, they shouldn't have been that strong. Not really. Like I said, I didn't mind Deku like losing his power. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed in the way that the fight ended with, you know, Shigaraki being a mental battle and Deku trying to save him. Like I said, I loved that they didn't save Shigaraki, but no, when this was coming out, you know, and I was not like reading this ongoing, when it was coming out, it was a big issue because Bakugo had suffered a life-threatening, like pretty much they said this, like he was about to be like ripped to shreds and everything. And in the manga, you see that like the ninja hero ended up saving him and restitching his heart and stuff back together. Cool. I like Bakugo, so I'm a little bit biased. I don't think Bakugo and All Might should have both survived. That's just me personally. I get it. It's a triumphant moment. You know what I'm saying? This is just my opinion. It made the final battle feel like, yeah, I don't know. It made it feel a little bit too fairy tale. Like, I'm the kind of guy that when I watch scary movies, I want everybody to get away. You know, so I want the main people at the end to get away, right? But with anime, I feel like it's a little bit different for me. Like, I feel like you're supposed to take some loss. Like, you know, if not a lot, you're supposed to take some. Like, I feel like JJK right now is just taking too much loss. Like, they don't need to kill as many people as they killing. In reality, it's pretty much that's what a lot of the new animes are doing, you know? And they're not holding back on killing characters. I mean, boy, oh boy, wait till you finish that Demon Slayer when that comes out. That's gonna be insane. I didn't hate it. I just felt like the stakes didn't feel as dangerous. Because All Might dying and Deku actually defeating Shigaraki through like strength and stuff and going plus ultra, that would have been tough. I feel like he really just didn't go plus ultra. You know, so like that was like the main point of the show. You know, he going beyond your limits and stuff, and it was kind of like he really just hit him with some old Naruto talking no jutsu stuff, really. And so he basically put all his powers inside of him and let him just kind of like be able to see into his memories and all that stuff. It was cool. It was kind of cool. The class came in at the end, and he really did beat him. Like, he definitely did beat him by beating him, but he like changed him and everything, and I don't know. It was cool. That's pretty much my thoughts on the whole situation. I didn't want to really go into depth. I really do want to go really into depth, but that'll be later. I'm currently reading Dan. That's going really well. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. I will be doing a review on that one, but we'll see. I want to do a more in-depth thing. This is just more of a light video discussing how the ending worked, but with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.